Hey guys, it's Tim from Ramish here, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a Bukkit server. So, to get started, you're going to need to go to Bukkit. So I have Google pulled up over here. Type in Bukkit in Google, and then you see Bukkit forms, and you go down to Craft Bukkit. Here we want to download a Craft Bukkit build. And it just depends on what you want to use. If you want to make a 1.4.7 server or a 1.4.5, beta builds are more stable than development builds, and then recommended builds are more stable than beta builds. So currently, right now, there's not a beta build for 1.4.5. So this build is really unstable. You want to download this. We'll click that and then save file. When it's still downloading, you want to right click on your desktop and then select new and then a folder, and you want to name it whatever you want. We'll go back to your downloads and drag and drop the Craft Bukkit server into your Craft Bukkit server folder. So now in here, you don't want to open it, you need to create a .bat file. Now, the .bat is a series of code where it lets you open this up. So to create a .bat, you want to hit new, and then text document. You need to name it start or whatever, doesn't really matter what you name it. And from here, you paste this. I'll have it in your description. So depending on where you store your things and where you keep your JRE7, and then what this is called, then you want to modify this. So for instance, I'll take this and copy it. So I need to rename this with that thing I just copied and pasted. So what this is basically saying is it's using Java to open up this with 2 gigabytes of RAM, I think. So yeah. So I'll have this in the description. You don't need to worry about it. So you want to you want to file, click file, and then save as. This is important. You make sure you want to go all files, and then make sure you need to type in .bat start.bat or whatever you want to name. Just make sure it has that .bat on it. So now that you have this, you want to run the start.bat and make sure my server is closed. Okay, cool. So just run that. Alright guys, I fixed the problem, and you should just I'll have all this stuff done for you. Just name your Craft Bukkit build Minecraft_server, and I'll give you the code for this in the description. So you want to run the start file. It'll start all this gibberish. By the way, yours won't be green, it'll be like black for the first time. You can just change that. It's taking a while, but it needs to create the new world. After you create the new world, it'll be faster. Now, after that, you want to stop. You always want to type in stop to actually stop the server. You don't want to just close it, or else it won't save the world. Alright. So now that we're done with that, we have a lot of new stuff here. Let me just go over and explain these to you. This plugins is where you drop your plugins into. Plugins such as like World Edit, Boast Economy, World Guard, Fat Loots, MTMO, stuff like that. You put that in here. These 3 files are your world nether, or the world end. So yeah, this is the overworld, this is the nether, this is the end. Pretty self-explanatory. These are the band IPs, And this is the band players. This is Bukkit. Pretty sure this is alright, yeah, so this is just stuff about Bukkit, like the spawn limits, just more settings for Bukkit and stuff. Here's help. This helps you with like all the commands and such for Bukkit. These are your ops. Ops stands for operators, so you can type your name in, your username, and then you have access to every single command. Permissions is where you type in your permissions. Server is much gibberish, and then server properties file is settings that I'll go over these. So this is your level name, world. It has to be the same, or else it'll generate a new world. And it will query. You want to set that to false. Allow flight. You might want to set that to true, false, whatever. Server port. You want to leave that the same unless you have a different port you're forwarding. Now level type. It's the one to do default. Enable recon. So that's false. Level C, that's if you want a C to generate. Server IP, don't mess with that unless you have a IP to put in there. Max build height is 256. Spawn NPCs, if you set that to false, it won't spawn any NPCs. Whitelist, if you set that to true, then any player you type your name into this little notepad document, it will let them on the server. But if their name is not in that little document, it won't let them on the server. Now, spawn animals, let's set that to false. It's pretty self-explanatory. Hardcore is makes it hardcore mode. Texture pack sets the server texture pack. Online mode just prevents people from hacking. You want to keep this at true unless you want people with like fake accounts to get in and grief. PvP, you want to set this to false or true. Doesn't matter if you want to players to be able to hit each other. Difficulty is difficulty 1, 2, and 3. Game mode is either creative, adventure mode, or survival, which is 0. The max players is the max players that can join. I'm gonna set that to 10. Spawn monsters is self-explanatory. Generate structures. There's view distance, and then there's MOTD. MOTD is just what it says under the server name. So I'm gonna say welcome to my server, and then you want to save that. So now that you have all these things configured, you want to click on the start.bat, and I'll put this off to the side, and I'm going to open Minecraft. It loaded a lot faster. Alright, now here's your server. This is just the MOTD, but to be able to get on, you're going to need to hit add server and then type in your server address. What is your server address, you ask? Well, to find that out, you need to enter in the start and type in CMD. You come here to this command thing, and then you want to type in IP space config. Or no, sorry, IP config, no space. And then you'll get all these numbers and stuff. You want to look for your IP4 address, which is mine is 192.168.2.14. It's this little number over here. You want to type that number into server address. So that is your server IP. You want to type that in. Once you do that, you have to join your server. So at this point, it's just any normal, just like any other solar server, until you start adding plugins to make it different. But that's how you do it. Now, you need to port forward this for other people to get on your server. And people to port forward, it's hard to explain. Different people with different routers, all port forward differently. So I'm not gonna tell you how to port forward. You have to find that out on your own. But what you basically have to do is just go into your your router website, and then go to virtual servers and do it that way. To find out your external IP address, the one that you give out to other people, you want to go to my favorite external IP address site. It's called IP Chicken. You just click on that, and then right there it'll tell you your default port. So yeah, just copy and paste that number, and then give that number out to people so they can join your server. But you guys have to remember, you need to port forward the port. Alright guys, this is Tim from Ramashir signing out.